Bye.
Welcome back to the Four Horsemen. This is Tom from Spork Syndicate. Let's have some fun. Together with Andrew from Maple Leaf Customs, Skip from Crossroad Diecast Speed Shop, and Paul from Diecast Graveyard, we are the Four Horsemen. The first of our 2 October builds is Paint It Pink to raise awareness for breast cancer research. And our guest horseman is Jody Sims, also known as Jode Zero. I chose a Hot Wheels Purple Passion, a Larry Wood design based on a 51 Mercury. I like its lines, and I think it'll look great in pink. Pretty standard stuff. 4 pieces, including smoky glass and a chromed plastic base. Let's strip the paint. While the citrus strip does its thing, I pry out the tabs and get rid of those plastic wheels. This baby's getting some rubber tires. It's also going to be a lower rider. So I clip the tabs and sand the base flat. A quick mock-up shows I've got to put some spacers under the axles to lower the body. That's where these bread clips come in. I could use styrene plastic I bought in a hobby store, but these will do just fine, especially because they're on the inside. Kinda look like lasagna noodles, eh? Changing the ride height of a diecast car requires alterations to several parts. I'll grind and reshape the fenders a little later, but right now I'm focusing on these tabs on the interior that help keep the axles in place. I cut the axle tubes to length and use a file to cut a small opening into which I can pour glue to secure the axles inside. On the much shorter rear axle, I play it safe and apply the glue with a toothpick to avoid spilling and freezing the wheels. It rolls, but the front wheels are rubbing against the fender. Using a titanium burr, I raise the height of the fender. That's better. I get to work on the casting lines as the first round of bodywork. Well, let's see how low I was able to go. Yeah, that's nice. Gonna make some sparks, for sure. I use a center hole punch and drill some holes for exhaust pipes. A couple of ferrules will do nicely to shake the neighborhood. The second round of bodywork is a steel wool attachment on my Dremel to remove oxidation and other imperfections on the casting. Third round, filing again, this time to remove the flashing from the edges. Fourth round, sandpaper to further smooth the imperfections. The fifth round is Flitz metal polish. I put on a thin coat, use a soft Dremel attachment, and buff at the lowest speed. And then hand buff with a chamois. Those shines are not lighting effects. That's how beautiful the finish can get. But it needs a little more. Round 6. Wet sanding with 5000 and 7000 grit sandpaper. Round 7. Another Flitz bath and buff. Even better. Now a liberal application of degreaser, and it's off to paint. When working with Retroflame paint from Second Chance Redlines, you go one light coat at a time. I ended up mixing 1 milliliter at a time with a 1/4 milliliter of hardener for each coat. After about 5 or 6 coats, I liked where I was. After 24 hours of drying, I use a pink paint pen to make light pink headlights. I wasn't getting a circle, so I switched to a toothpick and teased out the paint to the edge of the headlamp and kept the casting pointed almost straight up to dry. Just one decal this time. This was a really fun build, and for such an important cause too. I look forward to checking out everyone's builds, and I hope you had as much fun painting it pink as I did. Be sure to check out our guest horseman, Jody Sims, on YouTube and Instagram, as well as my fellow horsemen, Skip at Crossroad Diecast Speed Shop, Paul at Diecast Graveyard, and Andrew at Maple Leaf Customs. And if you did paint a car pink, we want to celebrate your build by including it in our recap video. Send a 16:9 glamour shot, preferably on a white background, to 4horsemendiecast@gmail.com. And when you post your video or glamour shots, be sure to use the hashtag 4horsemendiecast so everyone can find your work. Our second October build is a Halloween build. We welcome Eddie, the Godfather Papandrea, as our guest horseman. Check it out. My purple passion is now a pink passion. For Jody Sims and the Four Horsemen, this is Tom. See you again real soon.